No alcohol, illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no contact with Patricia Patton. You don't go to within 3 blocks of 1435 South 10th or 1209 South 11th. If you're still in custody, you'll be seen on video on March the 21st at about 1:45. If you post the bond, your next court date is April the 21st at 10 o'clock in the morning in Tucson City Court. Right? Mr. Swenson.
So can you repeat that again?
You'll get a copy of the paperwork.
Okay, I'll say you removed.
All right, thank you, Mr. Swenson.
Bracket. Hello.
Ms. Brackett, I have a warrant here charging for narcotic drugs, possession of paraphernalia, alleged occurred on June 13th of last year. Will appoint legal advocate to represent you on these charges, and either counsel wish to be heard on conditions.
Yes, Your Honor. We're actually asking that you give her another shot on pretrial services. I understand that she was originally released and then failed to appear. However, this is almost a year old, this case. Her circumstances are extremely different now than they were back then. Now she is currently living at the Haven. She's been at their facility since December 31st. She was in the process of handling all her misdemeanor cases, particularly at Marana Justice Court, getting fingerprinted on her misdemeanors when she got picked up on this warrant and taken here. So she is in the process of sorting these things out. She's now stable, sober, and has the Haven to return back to if you release her tonight. We talked about the importance of calling pretrial services. The Haven has a phone she can use to call and check in. So we're asking you give her another shot on pretrial, given these are personal possession drugs, and she's got a different hold on her life now.
Arraignment is going to be March the 19th at 1:30. Any idea why the defendant's residing at the Haven? She was in Green Valley today.
I don't have any information about that, Your Honor.
Well, the rest location was either Green Valley or Marana, wasn't?
She was in Marana taking care of her misdemeanor.
Okay. All right. Arraignment date, again, it's March 19th at 1:30. Release will be to pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs. You know, continue and comply with treatment at the Haven. You will reside at the Haven. And you'll also comply with behavioral health assessment, and any recommended treatment is directed by pretrial services. Right. Thank you, Ms. Brackett.
Correa. You're next.
Hello.
Oh, it's warm.
Good evening. I'm Judge Jade, and you, sir, are.
Terrence Corella.
Mr. Corella, interim complaint charging you with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Alleged occurred earlier today. Will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and did either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to be heard on probable cause. So I'm looking at this interim complaint.
If you're talking about the drug charge, that has been dismissed.
No, I'm not talking about the drug charge.
Okay.
That one, I had that one, but I saw you didn't mention it, so I'm talking about the aggravated assault with deadly weapon. I don't believe there's probable cause to indicate that this was Mr. Corella who did this incident. There's no identifying features other than inserting his name. They don't include the clerk saying she reviewed the video, she pointed him out. We don't know where he was arrested, if he was wearing similar clothing. There's absolutely no information about how he was identified other than they inserted his name after reviewing a surveillance footage. I don't think that's enough to hold him on this count.
Summers.
Yes, Your Honor, and if I could have a moment to re-review the complaint.
You may.
Yes, Your Honor. So my first argument in response is that I don't necessarily agree that the complaint needs to include the specific method of identification. There's information both I'm sorry, and defense counsel said that, we just kind of inserted, or the officer just inserted the name, but you have information. I mean, clearly they spoke with the clerk, and then there's video surveillance camera footage. I don't know that the complaint is required to have I guess the final statement or connection as to how the identification was made. The other thing I would note is that this was alleged to have occurred today. This isn't a case where it's something that happened in the past and the police had to do an investigation to connect the dots as to figuring out who this person was. So I don't know if we can, I hesitate to argue that we can make reasonable inferences, but I mean, the fact that it was today probably can tell us that, he was apprehended pretty quickly.
I'm going to direct both counsel to the booking sheet and the arrest location.
That's my notes, sir.
The arrest location is the incident location.
Great. Thank you, Judge. I would incorporate your suggestion to look at the booking sheet as well, and I'm noting that it's the same. So I would ask that the motion to dismiss for probable cause be denied.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Motion is denied. Anything further on conditions of release?
Your Honor, we don't have any verified housing, and he claims to be unemployed, so I don't think a $50,000 bond is the least onerous in this situation, and we'd be asking for no more than $10,000.
And I have nothing to add to the comments in my recommendation.
Bond will be $15,000. Preliminary hearing date will be March 24th at 1:35. If bond is posted, release to pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Don't return to the incident location. Thank you.
Paris.
What? Yeah.
Paris?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, not to see you, John.
Hello.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Stanley Ferris.
Mr. Ferris. Under complaint, Sergeant's possession of narcotic drug, possession of narcotic drug for sale, possession of dangerous drug, possession of paraphernalia. These are all alleged occurred earlier today. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you, and did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Your Honor, given the probation hold, we are okay with a bond amount.
Preliminary hearing date is March 24th at 1:30. Bond is $5,000. If you post a bond, you'll be in a decision of pretrial services, no alcohol or illegal drugs. and you don't return to the incident location. Thank you, Mr. Ferris. That, of course, suggests you not discuss this matter with anyone except your attorney.
Gutierrez.
So,
Good evening, I'm Judge Fade, and you, sir, are
Next number 2, Gutierrez Moreno.
you want to repeat that for me a little more slowly?
Cesar Francisco Gutierrez Moreno.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gutierrez, I have an interim complaint charging you with theft of means of transportation, burglary, possession of burglary tools, and possession of paraphernalia. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. Did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Your Honor, the state recommended release to pretrial services, and we'd agree with that recommendation.
so someone here, detox nurse 1076.
All right. Preliminary hearing date will be April the 1st at 1:30 in the afternoon in the Pima County Justice Court. You'll be released to the third-party custody of pretrial services. You'll keep up regular reports with them, no alcohol or illegal drugs. You'll undergo behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment under their supervision. You'll have contact with the victims or return to the incident locations. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And I also have misdemeanor charges for you. I have charges from September 4th of last year. Possession of paraphernalia, failing to appear in court on September the 17th. I also have charges that go back to October 19th of 2022 for criminal trespass at 1552 West Miracle Mile and failure to appear. Your next court date on these matters is going to be April the 10th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the Tucson City Court. Do you understand that you need to be present at that time?
Yes.
Again, behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment. No alcohol or illegal drugs. Then you don't go back to 1552 West Miracle Mile.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. Have to be one thing every day, right?
Presented.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Omar Lincoln Hernandez.
Traffic on 2.
Mr. Hernandez. I have interim complaint charging you with domestic violence stalking alleged occurred says on or about December the 7th. It may be on or about December 21st. Or in that time range. Will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. And did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. We're asking that you release him to the pretrial or to the custody of pretrial services. Mr. Hernandez has absolutely no priors, misdemeanor or felony at 30 years old. He's a 1 on both of the scales. He doesn't have an active NVCA flag. He has verified housing with his mother and uncle, which is away from the victims. He has full-time employment at Papa John's as a delivery driver. These incidents, as you noted, are from December of 2024, so it's been over 3 months since this occurred, and over 6 months since the misdemeanors. These are all phone interactions, so there's no actual threat or claim that he showed up and did anything in person. So given all those factors, Your Honor, it's appropriate to release him to pretrial services instead of hold him on a bond, especially with the strict no contact order from the court. There's no indication he won't follow it, won't speak to the victims, and there's no indication he won't come to court and will harm the community.
Anything further, Ms. Summers?
Your Honor, I would just highlight that you do have victim input in this case from the victim on the felony matter, that she wants no contact and objected to release. The state highlights the content of the messages and that it was involving a firearm and the threat to community safety. You know, sometimes the risk assessment tools just don't fully incorporate and assess the whole entire picture. So that's the basis for the state's bond recommendation.
And Your Honor, there's no allegation that the gun was used.
There was a picture of a gun sent.
I see that now.
Yeah.
It is. 10 minutes. 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 10
Preliminary hearing date is going to be March 24th at 1:30. Bond is $2,500. If you post the bond, you get a distribution of pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons. If you have any firearms, they need to be surrendered to Tucson Police Department. No contact with alleged victims. You're not to go near the victim's residence or workplaces. There's to be no firearms in your residence or vehicles. If they don't belong to you, if they're not to be in your presence. That is in your residence, and also a behavioral health assessment and recommended treatment. And that's the felony charges. We also have misdemeanor charges. Alleged to have occurred on or about the 12th of June. City Public Defender's Office is wanting to represent you on these charges. Bond is also $2,500. Court date is going to be March the 19th at 1:30. Again, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons, no contact with alleged victims or returning to the victim's residence or workplace. And I'd suggest you not discuss these matters with anyone except your attorney. Thank you.
Amazing.
Massive.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. Hello. Hi. Hi, Your Honor.
Good evening. I've got to say that you are
Are you massing there?
Ms. Massey, in complaint charging you with unlawful failure to return rented or leased property. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and did either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions?
Your Honor, the state recommended release to pretrial services, and we'd agree with that recommendation.
Preliminary date's April the 1st at 1:30 in the afternoon. You're not to leave the state of Arizona. You're not to go to U-Haul or have any contact with them. You'll be released to the Supervision of Pretrial Services. That will include a behavioral health assessment as they direct. Do you understand that?
She said April 1st. I have
You get
to,
paperwork.
I get paperwork.
Yep.
And is this pre-trial? I'm being released?
I'll explain that to you in a second.
Okay, yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Massey.
Okay. Go back out the door, so it's nice.
Hello. Hello.
Good evening. I'm Judge Tate, and you are
Bill Mailgate.
Ms. Olgain. I have an inner complaint charging you with possession of dangerous drug, possession of paraphernalia. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. Did either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions?
Again, Your Honor, the state has recommended release to pretrial and she is steps eligible, so we'd be agreeing with that.
What your attorney is saying is that the state has indicated that you are eligible for a diversion program called STEP. Are you awake? Can you hear me?
We can.
What this is it's a treatment. It's a program that's designed to meet your needs. The program, if you successfully complete the program, then these charges may be dismissed without any formal charges. Did you want to avail yourself of that opportunity?
Sure.
Right? And time waived for preliminary hearing, counsel?
Yes.
Preliminary hearing date will be April 28th at 1:30, but you've got a court date a week from today. So Wednesday, the 19th at 9 o'clock in the morning in Pima County Superior Court. You need to be there and be awake. Do you understand that?
Yes.
No alcohol or illegal drugs, and you need to comply with pretrial services supervision.
Okay.
All right, I also have another file for you. I have charges that go back to November the 8th. Charging you with criminal trespass and possession of paraphernalia at 1555 West Valencia. And failing to appear in court. Your next court date on this matter is going to be the 14th of April at 9 o'clock in the morning in the Tucson City Court. Again, no alcohol or illegal drugs. You need to comply with the STEPS program. In fact, I suggest that you bring your STEPS paperwork with you when you come to court on the 14th to show to the prosecutor and the judge. And you don't go back to 1555 West Valencia. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you.
Does that conclude the calendar, Your Honor?
It does, just a couple of quick notes for
Oh.
council.
For which one?
Well, for both of you, just
Oh, okay.
if you agree with what the